All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, May 19th. We're taking a look at NASDAQ to start the day, to start the week. We do have a gap lower this morning. NQ gapping down into that 21,150 area. Looks like we're going to have an open right near that level of interest, 21,150. That's going to be the primary watch for this morning. Kind of gapping down outside of that prior 3-day near term range that we had. So I'm going to be looking at the reaction here to the 150 area. And basically want to see, are buyers going to be stepping in off of this level of interest, or are we going to finally see that true test, that true retest down into the daily time frame, pivot right through there, 21K zone, treating that as a 100-point zone. And that is a daily time frame inflection point right there. We've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks. Right through there, you can see it on the daily chart. So you have a little bit of consolidation late last week. Weekly volume point of control from last week, right there near the 21,300 level of interest. So we want to see, our buyers going to step in off of 150, or we're going to see a full retest down into 21K. Pretty simple approach for this morning. Let's get a look at the economic calendar. We do have some pretty heavy Fed speak all week long, pretty much every single day this week. Usually that's nothing, it's nothing to be worried about, but sometimes you will get some chatter, some commentary that kind of gets the market moving. So you always want to have some awareness when those Fed speakers are going. For today, that's 9:45, so shortly off of the open. And then again this afternoon at 1:15. Now, outside of that, we do have a 10 a.m. data print this morning. So we'll be keeping a close eye on the intraday structure into 10 a.m. But outside of that, there's not a lot of major economic data for this week as a whole. Outside of that Fed speak, so maybe we'll see if it's a little bit of a slower week. Not like last week where we had the CPI, the big CPI print. So that's the focus for this morning. Let's take a look at this overnight structure. Obviously, the action here overnight, downtrend, right? You've got the open lower right around here, right around the prior day low, the 21,300 level of interest. Hopefully no one shorted right off of that open right into the level of interest. That's why you don't short into levels of interest. But looking at that overnight action, volume was not great at all. So nothing to really see through there. That was on the back of that Moody's credit downgrade. Anyway, you see price fill that overnight, that gap up into the 400 level of interest, and then we start to see sellers step in more aggressively. 300 starts to act as resistance, as it should. You have a very nice rejection there at VWAP. Now we're just kind of into this basically a sideways structure here ahead of the bell. A little retest of 150 just a few minutes ago on increased volume. That's always good to see. Overnight low is at 112. Volume point of control for the extended hour session right here at 198. And VWAP 230. So I'll mostly be interested in, like I said, 150. And then also this kind of pre-market structure right through here. Backdrop remains bullish. Bullish. It can flip to bullish neutral today, depending on the close. So we'll see how that's looking. What's up, Dom? Bringing the energy. Got about 2 minutes till the open here. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. NASDAQ right back here into that session volume point of control. Where's it? Let's take a look at ES here. We got an extra minute or so. So ES sitting on 5,900 level of interest. Just taking a look. Yeah, pretty much range bound as well. So ES actually had a much better day on Friday, a lot more strength there. If you like to trade the S&P, really nice action there versus the 5,900. I think we talked about that on, or excuse me, the 5,925 on Friday's stream. Let's flip back to NASDAQ. We're getting into the open here momentarily. There we are at the open here in about 20 seconds. There's your open. Coming into VWAP. Buyers stepping in right off the open. Coming into 250. Let's take a look at this gap here. There's your gap. Oh, good call, Dom. Yeah, I like that. I like that hammer right before the bell. Beautiful. Got ES already coming into prior day low. Little retest of that pre-market structure. Got VWAP right there. Good volume this morning, at least off the open. I like to see how this opening 5-minute bar closes. The old gap rules apply. New high of day on ES into prior day low. NASDAQ coming into highs 264.5. Ray already grabbed the VWAP retest. Nicely done. You got ES pushing into prior day range now, 59.25. Still cash personally. No new high of day there on NASDAQ. See if that new high is made here. There you go, new high of day. Fresh highs. Upside level is 21,300 for NASDAQ. Then you're looking at the prior day low at 320. NQ, there's 300 for you. Still cash personally, staying patient. Staying patient. Prior day low just overhead now, 320. This area should give us some good clues. So we know 150 held, obviously. Overnight structure breaks to the upside. And we're watching the reaction here into this zone. Bullish backdrop things right there. Volume kind of tapering down a little bit, actually, Ray. Below average. Do have some Fed speak ongoing. NASDAQ working on getting back into that prior day range. This is prior day low right here, 21,320. See if sellers show here or not. Still pre 10 a.m. Got that directional move, directional strength. Back into 300. And start to take that intraday fib. Let's see, where's our open right there? 202. Whole market's pretty strong here. Russell pushing into prior day low. You already got ES back in a prior day range. YM up through the overnight high already. NQ retesting the highs. Decent little re-entry there. Trim a little more. New high of day. That was the first A plus entry of the morning. See what sort of continuation we get, if any. Time is it? We got about 1 minute till that opening 15-minute bar closes. Very slight new high of day there with the little microstructure. You probably want to raise the trail. Volume really coming out now. Got below average volume. Whoa. There you go. New high. Where's our overnight high? Well, up there at 418. So next upside level here is 21,400 level of interest. Five-minute RTH chart. Opening 15-minute bar closed. Quite bullish. Good follow through on that 30-minute as well. Within the bullish backdrop. Got my trail down near the entry. We'll see if the trail gets taken here. Down near 310. NQ back into the highs. There you go. New high of day. Trim a little more. There we go. There's a little micro time frame spring right there with the prior day low. Nice push. I'm gonna trail a little tighter here. Those momentum moves always hard to manage. Just went 50 points in a minute as we get into the 400 level of interest. About 25 points from the main target here. I'm going to trail a little bit tighter as the risk starts to become a little unfavorable. I'll go just below 360. There it goes. I'm out. Taken out. Let them have it. Let them have it right there. Not bad. Decent start to the morning. That's decent. 55 points. Start the day. And we have about 10 minutes till 10 a.m. You have a data print at 10 a.m. Nice work, everyone. Looks like a lot of W's in the chat. Love to see it. Now, if you hit your daily goal this early and you give it back later this morning, don't call me. Don't call me. I don't want to hear about that. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to hear about that. Oh boy. So NQ kind of in no man's land here. See how the structure continues to develop. Right now, I'm pretty much just vertical. Vertical move off the open. Sellers unable to show any sort of continuation of that gap. And if we take a look at the 5-minute RTH, we're pretty clearly back within that prior 3-day range. So So far, it looks like my trail was solid. Happy to see that. Not usually the case. Look at this volume really tapering down now. Pretty much going to be cash for the next 6 minutes till that 10 a.m. data print. I'll be keeping an eye on this area as well as this area up here. All of this just no man's land. All right, 4 minutes till 10. Yeah, 10 a.m. data, CB leading index. More of a minor print, but I always want to keep an eye on those. A little barcode here on the 1 minute. Pretty much have two long setups this morning. The little retest there of VWAP and the overnight structure, lower quality entry, and then the retest there at 300, the level of interest. always going to be stronger. Let's see what we're working with post 10 a.m. Wow, even the bot got that long at VWAP. Wasn't expecting that. Wowzers. All right, here comes 10 a.m. Here comes that data. Let's see what we're working with here. Look at volume, just non-existent. Yeah, pretty much a nothing burger print there. So game plan remains the same. Volume just non-existent. Wow. Let's check out that volume profile. Yeah, high volume node starting to build out. It's probably the RTH volume point of control. Yes, it is. So even the 5 minute showing some barcode here. Let's see which way the structure breaks. There you go, new high of day. There it is. You got ES into the overnight high. Russell, a nice retest at VWAP. And NQ, we get into the 400 level of interest. Overnight high right there as well. Prior day volume point of control. See what sort of reaction we get up here. Solid uptick in volume. Yeah, staying patient. Not much to do right here, except for wait. Not much to do, not much to do. Hmm. Yeah, trade management is one of those things. More of an art form. There's definitely some technique involved as far as following structure, things like that, but it's a constant work in progress. Wow, what happened right there? What happened right there? My goodness. Shorts just getting annihilated again. The annihilator. This little 50-point zipper there. Into prior day volume point of control. I've got no position. I've got absolutely no position. I took one trade. One trade, so this is not my move right here. If I look like I'm hunchback, it's because I'm on a stool that has a rounded bottom. So I'm trying not to fall. Oh man. Stool? Yes, sir. By the way, if you have a standing desk, standing while you trade improves profitability. Proven fact. It's a proven fact. You've been sitting while you trade, Chrissy? Oh, see? Now we know. Now we know the issue. Now we know the issue. I knew there was something under the hood there. Still just staying patient here. We had the one long from 21,300 level of interest. It's pretty much been a vertical move all morning. Not even really much of a pullback, just kind of sideways consolidations. Tends to be what you see in a bullish backdrop, something we talked about a few weeks ago. Actually, at this point, probably like a month or two ago in the TMG. You're going to see more setups like that. Pullbacks won't be as deep. Volume back to below average. See how this 400 is going to be treated. Faux hundo. There's the overnight high, 418. See what the other indices are doing. You've got YM into prior day volume point of control coming into prior day high. That YM, wow. Russell bumping into prior day low. That was a nice hold at VWAP there. And then ES, looking like a retest of that overnight high, 59.50 level of interest. That little intraday gap is probably some news. Probably some news. I didn't double check. Overnight high holds. Back in a prior day volume point of control. NQ, new high of day. There you go. Upside level at 500. Where does the gap fill? Yeah, right about 500. A little retest of that overnight high. That was decent. Got to go in with a partial there and be ready to add more at 21,400. But like I said a few minutes ago, This market has not shown very deep pullbacks. We just talked about that about 5 minutes ago. Got to adapt to what the market shows you. Yeah, I would have liked that 400 better too, Dave, but buyers are impatient right now, as evident by the current action. Let's see if we get trailed. That's a trail down here near prior day volume point of control. Almost into that prior day close on that push. What is it again? 495. Okay. Prior day value area high right there, just as a reference point on today's session high. See if the trail gets hit. Volume just non-existent. So if we get a little push right here, that'll be a good spot to lift the trail. Not even an hour into the sesh. Wow. All right, Russell, take care, man. Oh, here comes the trail. There's the trail. Trailed out. All good. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. We'll take it. It's a decent morning. How we doing? How we doing out there? Saw a lot of people locked out already. That's a win. Locked out, Dom. Yeah. Nice work. It's a good feature. It's a good feature. I can't believe it's your first time using it, man. That's crazy. I think you'll come to love the lockout. You just know those gains are secure. The day is done. Oh, that's right. You had that profit lockout set up. I remember that now. That's right. 2 for 2, Martin. What's happening, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Well done. Well done. Yeah, that's the main beauty right there, Dom. No temptation. Like you come back from lunch, maybe you check markets, but you just can't even I can't even tell you how many times I've like come back from lunch already up nicely on the day. You take another trade and it's just like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Not a good feeling. Yeah, seriously. That's why it's kind of nice to have like secondary accounts. Like on the stream here, I trade my personal account. Once I'm off the stream, I pretty much usually close that and then just switch over to like a funded prop account or something like that if I continue to trade. It's a good risk management tool. Yeah, that midday lull stuff is usually not worth it, especially in slower markets. When we were having all that volatility, there was definitely some good action there, like back in April, but lately, not really. 15-minute showing some exhaustion here. I'd be careful on the backside of this candle with longs if this thing confirms. This is the upper portion of the near term range. Back in a 400 area. Pretty much no bid there so far. Let's see, where's our. So 50 and 61% are right near the 300 and prior day low. That'll definitely be a key area to watch. Right down here. If you trade ES, it's coming back into that 59.50 level of interest. NQ right there at 400. Good volume. And that 15-minute may not actually close bearish. As of right now, just a doji. Let's see these next 10 seconds. So why candlestick analysis has to be done when the candle is closed. Candle closure. There's your next 30-minute bar as well. So if sellers get a lower high right here, may see more of a retracement of this morning's move. We'll see. I got no position on right now. Just had that long from earlier. Now we're chilling. One hour into the sesh. NQ, a little bit of barcode here near the 400. Volume just falling off again. You gotta watch that volume. You gotta watch it. ES so far holding the 59.50. The overnight high right there as well. If you prefer to trade the ES, the S&P Anyone trade ES? Nice little bounce there. Decent little bounce right there. ES has been given some nice action, I must say. Something else we've been talking about in the TMG. NQ back in an overnight high. May just start to see a little bit of churn here, especially with volume below average. Not really seeing anything worthwhile as far as risk exposure near the 21,400. Last entry for me was the one shared earlier. That first retest near the overnight high. Main concern right now for additional longs is the fact that price is getting into pretty close proximity to the near-term range high. So there still is a little bit of upside left, but for the most part, I mean, this move is largely complete. Remember, if you've been with us the whole time, our main focus was the reaction at 21,150. It holds as support into 300, through 300 into 400, and now we kind of have some consolidation. Backdrop remains bullish. It's kind of one of the key things that would have given you a clue for today's long setup. Context. Context is so important. So important. What we may end up seeing is just a late morning range kind of build out right through here, especially with volume tapering down. ES, definitely the more favorable move on this bounce. Better location, cleaner alignment. Price has cleaner alignment with the level of interest and the reference point there compared to NQ. Stronger signal. Look at that 5-minute on NQ. That's actually pretty nice. A little bit of drift here. Little bit of drift. Look at the volume. Churn, just coming into some churn here. Let's see the next 15 minutes. Keeping an eye on 21,400 as well as the overnight highs. Key zone. Notice the rejection there at the prior day volume point of control. See if buyers can break up and through prior day volume point of control. Sellers just right back in it right there. With a decent little scalp opportunity. It was decent. No follow through. 3 for 3 on the morning. Might be time to call it shortly. A little uptick in volume right there. That's not bad. But still kind of in this churn structure, this drifty. Still working with the idea that we may see kind of late morning range build out all through here. This is a sort of action like these past 15 minutes where you can just get chopped up. You got to be careful with this sort of stuff. So I gave it that one attempt right there and very, very tight trail. You want that trade to go right away. No messing around. So if this shakes out into a lower high, I'll watch the reaction down into this area. 300 level of interest, priority low, VWAP, fib buy zone. Right through there. See the reaction. You got ES back into 59.50 and the overnight high did not make a new high of day. See if NQ confirms or not. Looks like that low right there is 375-ish. give or take. Holding for now. No position. A spring setup right there would have been lovely. Right into that overnight high. A decent little push there from 400 on the micro time frame, a little retest. No position. Decent little setup right in there though. Just on that retest of 400. It's only going to be visible on like your 15 or 30-second chart. And ES holding the 5950 again. So far, that idea of kind of the late morning range panning out, sellers unable to break the structure. Not even with the spring setup. See, how's our profile looking? Yeah, probably going to be a while before that extended hours volume point of control shifts, but I would bet the RTH is up here. Yeah, it's right there. Right there, 415. Almost aligned with the prior day. So a lot of volume being done up here. See what the next 10 minutes have in store. More than likely done for the day. 3 for 3. Volume just tapering down again. What I like to see here is the 11 a.m. move, if any. Then make a decision from there about calling it a morning. All right, 3 minutes till 11. NQ, just more churn here near the 21,400. ES, pretty similar structure building out on 59.50. All right, coming back into that 375 area. See if there's any 11 a.m. move. Got no open positions here. Last attempt was that scalp at 400. Trail looks to be perfect. There's an 11 a.m. Pretty much nothing. Pretty much nothing. So that's a good time to call it right there. Pretty good morning. Pretty good morning. Feel like we made the most of that vertical push. Aligned nicely with the bullish backdrop. Found some decent entries. Know many of you hit daily goal and locked out already. So good stuff. Good way to start the week. We'll keep it going in the Traders Think Tank, but I've got pretty low expectations for the remainder of today, just given the current location as well as the volume really tapering down here. If you guys have any questions, reach out in the Traders Think Tank. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your day.